Hello! So this video will be a little bit different because it's January and it's just been the 17th of January, which if you didn't know, and I'm sure many of you didn't know, it's the end your New Year's resolutions day. That they exist, you can Google it, you will find it. And it was hilarious to me because it became a day because most people end their New Year's resolutions between 14th to 21st of January, believe it or not. But since we're all artists here, I figured we would prefer to still find a way to sneak in some art. And if the New Year's resolutions didn't work for you, if you're not that kind of a person, or if you're just looking for a way to put more art into your life, this is the video for you. Here are some of my tips. Okay, so my first tip is to have a lot of sketchbooks on the run. So you're just flipping through, you're working in all of them, because it's much easier when one is drying, you can work on the next, and sometimes you would like to do one kind of stuff and the other time you would like to do another kind of stuff. And if you mix and match everything, it can look funny. Trust me, I know. Don't ask me how I know. But this is one way how you can solve this problem. This year I treated myself and bought myself a ton of little sketchbooks, because that's my next tip. Draw or paint small. Why? Because it's done in 10 minutes, in 15 minutes, or in half hour. You don't need 2 hours to finish a sketchbook page in this thing. And that kind of matters if you want to do it daily. Daily doesn't mean that you have to do it every day, but it means that you would prefer to have more days that you would do it than those that you did do it. So, if that makes sense. The second tip is to participate in challenges. I always participate in Inktober and Mermaid, but there are several more challenges, and I used to do one every month, which is kind of exhausting, but can be done if you don't have a full-time, very demanding job. But even if you do, you can sneak in a week-long challenge maybe. And sometimes you can dedicate a sketchbook to that. There are some other challenges that are longer, like 36 days of type or something like that, or 100 days of type. I have to check it out. And then we've got 100 days of drawing and 100 days of small things, and those are really nice, but those are a bit longer. So if you've got a full-time job and kids and other hobbies, maybe start with something smaller and slower so that you will feel the sense of victory after you complete it. Then another good motivator are various tutorials and get-togethers of various artists. I always participate in Sketchbook Revival. I really like it. It's sometime in spring, and then you've got Live Book Taster and Kaleidoscope and tons of others that I don't remember now. Kick in the Creatives have challenges for every single month and year-long challenges, so you can check them out. And I've got an old blog post with all kinds of challenges, so if you're interested. So these are some easy ways, but maybe you're not a person for challenges, maybe you don't like to post things, or maybe just doing something every day is too much for you. And I totally get you. I'm in the same shoes right now. So what can we do? I've made myself a Pinterest board for painting and for drawing, and so I have an inspiration that when I don't know what to draw, I can just pick something from there and just copy it. I know you will say copying, it's not the same, but copying really gets your skills up, because you can compare your drawing or painting to somebody else's and you see where you have to work on. So I really like that, And then there are some fun drawing exercises. Carla Zonheim has a lot of them, and you find some in drawing books. Proco has some as well. I really love the blob exercise and the scribble exercise. Those are really my jam because my imagination runs wild. But you'll find the ones that you love the best, I hope. So let me show you that the sketchbook doesn't need to look nice. I'll show you my very first sketchbook that is terrible. But it got me going. So it's not that bad then, right? So like I said, it's worth to have a lot of really different journals, so you can try all sorts of different stuff in them and not worry about them. It pays off to have a really cheap journal and a small one, because then you tend to do it more often. What I do when I don't know what to paint is sometimes I go to Pinterest and I just search either my painting board or I just improvise something, and sometimes it looks nice and sometimes it doesn't. Here I was learning how to do negative painting, and as you can see, my first try was terrible, but the next one was better. So that's how we learn. And here I've copied some little paintings that I saw on Pinterest. Some are from cards, some are from other paintings, from other medias, doesn't matter. Sometimes I just do little blobs and then I later on paint something and draw something in them. And that's a very nice thing to do when you have no time and you just want to be a little bit creative. You can also mix and match media if you want to, especially watercolors and colored pencils are very nice. You can add and try different paints like these shiny metallic paints that are really nice. I never liked gold, but I really like that one. So you never know. Then I have a whole little journal just for the slow drawing exercises. For a while, me and my girl, my daughter, were doing these different slow drawing patterns. I dedicated one journal for that. Sometimes I make my own journals, like this one. I like this one. And this one was for a challenge that I did. You can find different challenges online. I like Kikindi Creatives challenges. I did many of those. I like Mermaid, as you know, that will soon come. This one was another challenge. And then don't make it too precious. It's okay to just jot something down. It doesn't need to look perfect. It doesn't need to look... As you can see, the things that I copied look much better than the thing that I thought of myself. But in time, things will get better, I hope. So here are different images, and it pays off to have a board where you can find an inspiration for the days when you're just worn out. You can also write down different practices, drawing exercises and so on, so that when you have no idea what to do, just take one. Proco has a number of them, and Love Life Drawing also has some fun exercises. As you can see, this paper is not made for painting, but I painted over something with this gesso-like stuff, and I could paint over that with watercolors. So if there's a page you really hate, you can still just paint it over with white. And this is my oldest. This is my drawing practice with hands, and I was terrible, as you can see. I wanted to show you that we all start pretty terribly. Proportions are off and everything is just hard to look at. But, you know, I still remember the day I drew this one. I saw some goats that a farmer was selling off, and he tied their hooves and legs together, and I really felt sorry for them, and this is how I expressed it. This was from my first Inktober, I think. This one is from Virtual Instructor. This one is just from reference.
This one is inspired by a stamp.
And of course you can play around in your journals also with mixed media. I made a collage, and once you put collage over something, the paper thickens so much that you can throw anything on it, actually. I could do something with this page still. Here I was in a hospital. It was to get my broken hip fixed, and I drew all that in the hospital. I drew all this at the beach. This is how a real sketchbook looks like. It's not all perfect pages. It's sometimes a little bit of drawing and a lot of words, and sometimes a lot of drawings, and sometimes sketches and thumbnails, and sometimes things that bleed through, and it's different. It's not all nice and polished. Of course, the best drawers, whatever they make is kind of beautiful, but most of us are not there yet. So this is how this looks. But it doesn't matter, it's a memory that matters. This is jelly print. I made this one into a real painting that my daughter has in her room. This one was also from some art challenge or something like that. We did that with kids over Zoom because I had Corona and they were at Grandpa's at the time. This one was also from some, I don't know, sketchbook revival, I think, I'm not sure. This was one for the Day of Maori or something like that, Waitagi. This was for a picture book course and schoolism course, and this is an exercise from Aaron Blaze. Some normal drawings, and nature drawings, nature journaling, sketches for Inktober that I later made into small paintings. I had to draw a hamster for a commission, so I drew from references here. This paper is only good for dry media, so I used it for little sketches. Different ideas for paintings. I really enjoy this kind of work. But what I love to do mostly is to draw a day. I have a few of these, and it's always fun to look back, although as you can see they're not all painted yet. I have to, although as you can see these are pretty old and I still haven't finished painting them, but I really enjoy this the most. Although this kind of work does take a bit of time, it takes at least half an hour every day, so it's much easier to do when you're on vacation, and even there it's not always possible. Here we went to Tenerife and I still have some things to finish from there, but even if you're just traveling to, like we went to Grandpa here, and even if you're just working at home or something like that, you can still make cute and interesting drawings. So this is what I would like to encourage you to do. But if this takes too much time and if it's too difficult, you can always go and do some kind of exercises like these blob exercises or scribble exercises, or as I've shown you before, those little painted blobs and draw something over them so that they resemble something. You can always make a pattern, or you can decorate a recipe or anything like that. So these are good ideas when you don't know what to draw. And I hope you find some kind of inspiration for that so that you will have more art in your life in this year. I hope this wasn't too long for you. Let me know in the comments what kind of videos you like the most. I still have to finish some, as you can see. And I hope you have a lot of art this week, this month, and this year. Have a nice time. Bye bye.